All right, good morning, everyone. My name is Jesus Morales and I work with instructional technology. Today, I'm going to be talking to you about Zoom. So this is a Zoom 101 presentation. I'm going to be sharing my screen. I'm going to be running this off of PowerPoint. The reason I have to do that is because when I share the screen, I can't show you Zoom. So I had to take a lot of screenshots and add a lot of notes to those screenshots so that you could follow along. So it's going to be a PowerPoint, but in the end, we'll get interactive. I'll show you the live settings for sure, but I couldn't show you the live Zoom session. It will not capture or screen share the live Zoom session like Schoology Conferences does, which is kind of weird. But well, actually, it's not kind of weird. I've never seen it do that. I'm glad Schoology Conferences does, but this one doesn't. If you have any questions, please drop them into the chat. I've gone ahead and uploaded this PowerPoint to the chat, and I am recording the session. So you'll be able to find this session under professional development, under the How to Zoom the How to or Zoom How to folder. I'll be dropping that video in there. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen, which is the PowerPoint presentation. All right, and you should be seeing the PowerPoint presentation. Give me a thumbs up there in the reactions if you are seeing the PowerPoint, or a yes in the chat if you are seeing this PowerPoint. Yes, we're seeing the PowerPoint. And you're hearing me as well, right? I'm not muted. All right. Thank you, Adriana. I appreciate it. Good morning. Good morning. All right. So just before I do anything else with the PowerPoint, I wanted you to see that there's a real neat feature up here called in Slideshow, where I can enable right here the subtitles. So reach out if you know any of your special ed community teachers, this serve the deaf ed. If when they play the PowerPoint, when they play the full screen PowerPoint, which I'm going to do, if you click if you check off this box as I'm talking, and anybody, as a matter of fact, if we're having a video conference and somebody starts talking on the other end, it will show up down there in the PowerPoints. And if we're recording this session like I'm doing right now, you will also see, the subtitles in the recording, the closed caption. So I think that's a pretty neat issue. Pretty neat thing, not issue. Yes, we should mute our mics. Let me try that again there. If you haven't done so, please go ahead and mute your mics. All right. I muted again. Hopefully we're not hearing that anymore. Okay. So let me go ahead and get started. I'm going to go full screen. I have a lot to cover. At the end, I will answer any questions that you may have. Okay. So again, this is Zoom 101, and we're going to go ahead and cover as much as we can in the time that we have together. I am supposed to stop at 10:15 to give everybody a brain break, including myself. If we run over a little bit, and if you have to leave, that's going to be okay. I will definitely stop at about 10:25 because I'm going to do this all over again in a 10:30 session. All right, so there's a lot of tools that we're using for distance and blended learning right now, especially because of the situation that we're in. We're using Schoology conferences, Schoology and Schoology conferences. We're obviously using Zoom. Some of you, if you're in the elementary, might be using the new Seesaw home connection codes. Know that Seesaw has put these codes out so that you can send them home, share them with the parents, with the student, and they're unique to every student, and they can connect at home with Seesaw. We obviously have Office 365, documents and forms. We're using MyOn at Home, Discovery Education, and so many other programs that I'm showing you here. You know what, you know what, you're right. Let me, if you haven't closed off that, I know why you're hearing the echo. If you haven't closed your Schoology conferences, please do so right now. Go back to Schoology conferences, close that if you're in here, because then there will be an echo. Make sure you close off Schoology conferences. I'm gonna wait a few seconds while you do that. So like I said, if you haven't closed off Schoology conferences, please make sure you do that so that we don't have this echo. Go back to your Chrome or browser, close off that big blue button conference, and the echoing will stop. And please mute your mics. Does that sound better? All right, that's good. Let's continue on again. All right, so we're going to talk about what Zoom video conferencing is, how to set it up and start a conference. We'll talk about tools and tips for teachers. And then at the end, we will hopefully have a time to practice, okay? Please make sure you mute yourself if you haven't done so. I should have already muted everybody. So what is it? What is Zoom? So Zoom is a cloud-based video conferencing service where you can virtually connect with others. You can do it by video, by audio, or by both. And then you can also conduct live chats like I'm doing right now. And you can record the sessions like I'm doing to view later. So how do you create a Zoom account? So hopefully you've already done that. If you haven't done so and you're planning to use Zoom, you will need to create an account, but it's not that difficult. So to create an account, you're gonna go to zoom.us, and from there, you're gonna click on the sign up, it's free. If you've already created an account, matter of fact, if you use Google and you use your EPISD email, if you click on sign in, you can go ahead and sign in with your Google account. So it's not even necessary to sign up with an account unless you're doing it with just your email. If you do sign up with your email, you'll have to check your district email. You'll get a notification. It'll send you to a setup screen and you follow that screen to set up. But if you use Google, our accounts, our EPISD accounts are already tied with Google and you can just sign in. So here's my signing with Google. I have quite a few Google accounts. Some I use for work, some I use for personal, and then I use my EPISD account. So if I use my EPISD account, all I have to do is click on it. If I've never used it before, I can click use another account, type in my EPISD email, my password, and I will be able to use that to sign into Zoom with Google EPISD, okay? So once you sign in, you get this screen, all right? And you can go ahead and start setting up meetings right from the web. If you want to download, and I do highly recommend that you download the Zoom client, that's the installed version of Zoom. You're going to click up there at the top where it says resources on the top right, and then you click on download the Zoom client. All right. In that same resources link drop down menu, you can see video tutorials. They do offer live training, webinars and events, and then they do have a Zoom blog as well as an FAQ page if you have any questions. Remember, you can always reach out to us in the active learning department, your instructional technology specialist, to answer any questions that you might have. But you download the Zoom client, you follow the instructions to install it, and you will have that in your computer to run instead of going to the web every single time. I'll talk to you about Zoom client here in a bit. All right, to schedule a meeting online, that's if you're only using the online version, you click on the schedule a meeting button. It's pretty simple. This is how you set up a meeting. You're gonna set up a topic. So if you're gonna use this for your students, you go ahead and place your name, the day and date, the day of the conference, and the time. I would put the time up there just so that it's easily visible. You don't have to put a description, that is optional, but the when, the duration, and the time zone are very important. So you go ahead and set your date and time, you set your direction, and you need to set the correct time zone because it's going to show up as specific. I'm guessing this company is in California or in Seattle or something like that. You do have to find the mountain time zone. Go ahead and set that. If you go to the settings on the left, you can set this time zone permanently, okay? You will use your meeting, it'll generate an automatic ID. Do not use your personal meeting ID and do not share your personal meeting ID with your students because that's like your password for your Zoom. If they have your personal meeting ID, then they're going to be able to come into your meetings at any time. Always generate an automatic meeting ID. It would not require a password. As long as they click on the link, just like you did today, you should be able to come into the meeting. And the video, if you're going to be talking to your students, go ahead and turn it on so you don't forget. As soon as you start the meeting, the video will come on. If for some reason you need to turn it off, you can always turn off your video. In fact, I'm going to turn mine on. All right, that's the first half of this settings page. Sorry, Sonia, I clicked on mute instead, and when I clicked on video, sorry about that. So like I said, you can decide to turn on your participant video or leave it off when the meeting begins. They will have the choice of turning it on later on, okay? So you can start with it off, and then if you want, they can go ahead and join you in the video as well. Can you hear me now? Okay, excellent. For the audio, it has three options. Leave it as both. Currently, Zoom is disabling telephone audio because it's offered so many of their free features. Well, the only free feature the only premium feature that they offered was extending the length of the conference because for free basic accounts, it's only 40 minutes, but right now it's unlimited. But they have disabled the telephone audio. So you have to use computer audio. For your meeting options, I would not check the enable join before host, especially if you're doing this with your students. If you're doing this with your grade level, or if you're doing this with your staff, that's okay. Enable join, they can join before you get there. But with students, we don't want them to be in a live chat by themselves, so do not check that off. Also, I would mute participants upon entry. So I would check that off to make sure my participants are muted when they come in. And there's no need to enable a waiting room. Let them just come in straight to the conference. And I recommend that you check off the box that says recording the meeting will start automatically as soon as you start the meeting. So that way, if you know you have to record, sometimes we forget. If I don't check that off, I'm gonna forget to press that record button. And if I check it off, the moment I come into the meeting, it will start recording. And then don't forget to click on save. I don't know how I'm doing this. I keep muting. I don't even know how that is happening. Sorry about that. You start the meeting. You can save to your calendar and you can copy the link so that you can share via email or so that you can share on your Schoology homepage in that table that you're creating. You can go ahead and drop the link in there, or you can type the word Zoom and then highlight copy and make that word an active link. Okay, so that's how you can use that. Remember that meeting ID that's right there, that's the actual meeting ID for this meeting. It's not your personal meeting ID. So you can share that. But I would share the copy of the invitation. I would do the copy invitation and share that because that gives them the link. Okay. All right, let's try that again. This time I didn't mute myself. Good. All right, so now I'm going to talk to you about the installed client. So if you downloaded Zoom, and you should be able to, there should be nothing stopping you from downloading and installing Zoom. We've had many teachers do this already. So if you haven't done so, I think you will be able to do so without any issues. Okay, I'm pretty sure. So this is what the Zoom client looks like. When you go and find, when you click on your Launchpad, your Rocket, and you find Zoom and you open it up, this is the starting page. You can download Zoom by clicking on the resources up there, and you can also do it directly from this website. There are 4 tabs up at the top: Home, Chat, Meeting, and Contacts. I'm going to talk to you about every one of these. Let's start with Home. So in Home, you have 4 icons. You have a new meeting icon. So if you just want to start a meeting because a teacher wants you to help her out, or you want to meet with a grade level and you don't want to have to schedule something, you can do it right there. Then in there, you click New Meeting. You share the invitation out to the people that you need to share. And I have been doing that a lot this week, where I do one-on-one sessions. Somebody says, hey, I can't do this, I can't do that. I can't see it. So I always ask them, can you join me in a Zoom meeting? They say yes, and then they get to share their screen and show me, and I can walk them through. We used to be able, we can do this through Skype, although Skype is giving us issues right now. We can't download it for some reason at home. So using Zoom is the other way. That's a easier, not an easier way, but a different way and a working way. We also can join a meeting. You're going to need the meeting ID for that. I suggest you just go ahead and click on the link that they share so that you can go straight into the meeting. But you can join a meeting with the meeting ID. This is one of my favorites. You can schedule your meetings. So you're going to have meetings next Monday, next Wednesday, next Thursday, and they're going to be 30-minute meetings, and they're at a specified time. Go ahead and schedule those meetings out. And that way you have those links ready. You can copy paste them into your Schoology landing page and that table that you're creating. And they're also going to show up in that upcoming meeting window right there. So, you know, that's how you can go ahead and access them from that upcoming meeting window. So I do recommend scheduling your meetings if you can ahead of time. The last feature here is sharing your screen. You do have to have the meeting code to do this. I would stick to sharing my screen when I'm in a meeting instead of trying to share from this button right here. Yes, Martha. As Martha's typing her question there. Yes, I am going to have a replay, Martha, at 10:30. I'm going to do the same session again. All right, like I said, you have this window right there on the home page that will show you your upcoming meetings. And I'll show you that here in a little bit, how it looks like when there is a meeting. It will actually have a start button and you can start your meeting from there. Okay, there is a settings button up there. You can make adjustments to your account, to your video conferencing settings, to your profile by clicking on that. We'll talk about settings here at the end. That is also your profile picture up there. You can set your profile picture in settings, but if you click on your profile picture, you will go ahead and you can change your profile image. You can set your availability. This is kind of like Skype. You can set if you're available, if you're not available. You will have access to your profile information from here, and you also have upgrade options. Right now, we're using the free basic option. Miss Mireles, you're going to have to create a table. So you'll create a page in Schoology, and you know there's a Schoology 101 session probably going on later on today. You can create a table in a page in Schoology, and then you can put like topic, date, time, and location as part of your table titles. And in the location, you can copy paste the link that when you create this meeting, you can copy paste the link from this window right here. Okay, hopefully as I go on, I'll show you how to get that link. I'm pretty sure I will. All right, the next tab up at the top is called chat. You can actually chat with people that are already registered in Zoom. Okay, so you can find your contacts. If you're using EPISD email, you will see, I think I have, it says 999. I think that's as high as it's going to count, but it's probably more than that because there are more than 999 teachers. So you can actually chat. You can do a live chat with somebody in your contacts. If your students sign up for it in high school, middle school, if your parents sign up for it, this could be your office hours tool to hold the live chat. So think about that, okay? Your meetings tab. This is where your meetings are going to be held. Again, do not share your personal meeting ID. I'm not going to be held. This is where your meetings are going to show. Don't share your personal meeting ID. It's always best to create a scheduled meeting. I have my scheduled meeting here. As you can see, Mr. Morales says Monday conference 9:30. I can, again, start from here. I can copy that invitation, Ms. Mireles, so that you can go ahead and paste that into your table in Schoology. I can also edit my meeting from here. If I said 9:30, but it was supposed to be 9 o'clock, if I wanted to change the title, various things that I can go ahead and change from here. But this is where you copy your invitation. All right, and again, where you can start your meeting, but you can also start your meeting from the home tab. Okay, again, do not share. Don't share that personal ID with your students or parents. We've been sharing it out amongst ourselves with our department. I know my boss has shared hers out with us, and we just connect to her personal Zoom channel. But I wouldn't share that. I would just create a new meeting every time and then share the link that way. I hope I've stressed that enough. Don't share your personal meeting ID, especially with your students and parents. Because anytime you have a meeting, They type in that personal meeting ID and they'll be able to get into any meeting that you are in, that you have started. All right, so this is my meeting. Again, I can start, copy the invitation, edits, and I can even delete. So if I need to cancel this meeting, I can go ahead and delete this meeting. If you record the meeting like I'm recording today, there is a recorded tab in this meeting place, and I can access my recordings from this tab. Also, you'll notice that in the blue box, it tells me where the recording went. So it's actually recording on your computer. So for me, it's recording in my documents folder. There's a Zoom folder, and then there's a folder by date and time. So that's where I can go to find this recording. The recording is going to be pretty big. So, and Schoology will only accept up to 100 megabytes recording. So what I do is I open up QuickTime Player. I open it up in QuickTime Player. If you start playing the recording, it will actually open up in QuickTime Player. You can click File Export, and you can export it as a smaller size, like 480p, and that should bring it down to the size that you will be able to upload to Schoology. Okay, so that's very important. This file is going to be pretty big, especially if it's like a 30-minute file that recording that you're going to have, or if it's an hour and an hour recording like I'm doing today. But I can bring that size down by using QuickTime Player. Do you set up a folder for this? You could, yes. Folders are the best thing in Schoology. You could set up a folder right underneath your welcome page. You could say Zoom recordings, because if you're using Schoology, if they click on conferences and complete it, the recording will show up there. The only difference, there's a lot of differences between Zoom and Schoology conferences, but Schoology conferences will not record automatically. You have to remember to press record, where I can set that in Zoom here and it will record this automatically. So yes, you would set up a folder that would say, student conversations or Zoom recordings, and then you can drop that recording in there. All right, the contacts, like I said, I am signed up with my EPISD email through Google. So it is accessing, I guess, what they call company contacts. It's showing, not only is it showing the teachers, but it's actually showing the students. So I was looking through here, and some of these are students that have used their EPISD email to create a Zoom account. So you can reach out to your students through here. They can reach out to you. If parents create a Zoom account, they can definitely contact you with your email. So there's plenty of ways that this can be done. Just know that if you go to contact, you should be able to find at least the people in your organization and some students as well. I can search for people in the contacts. So here's my friend and colleague, Karen Balbier. I can go ahead and search for her. It did find her. And then I can click on her, and I can start a chat. So again, similar to Skype for Business, you can run live chats in Zoom with specific people. You can share files, as I've boxed in that area, and I can even take screenshots. So if I needed to take a quick screenshot to share with somebody, they can go ahead and do so, okay? And I can save the chats that by clicking on the star, I can save chats, people that I communicate with often. You don't need to have your students create a Zoom account, James. If you send them the link, they can go ahead and join that way, okay? If they're, remember with FERPA and COPA, they have to be 13 years old or older in order to create any communication, to access email, social media. Okay, so just remember that. All right, so there I have starred Karen Balbier, and now she is in my chat as a star conversation so that I can access her a lot faster instead of having to go through my contacts. When I click on, and let me go back, when I click on that I for information up there on the top, I have information pertaining to this chat. I can look for profile information. So if you placed a phone number, and just be aware that if you placed a phone number in your profile, this is going to show up under profile information. So if you place your personal cell phone number, this will be available there. So you might want to go back and either take that off or leave that on. That's up to you. Right now, we're just trying to get our parents to communicate with us in whichever way they can. If you share your phone number and you're okay with that, that's fine. You can send images, you can send files, you can star this message, and then you have more options. I like this more options feature because if somebody's not online, if they don't have a little green dot or a little yellow dot that tells me they're online or just away, then I can say notify me when available. So as long as I leave my Zoom client on, when that person goes online, I'll get a notification so that I can contact them. Obviously, we can contact each other via email, but that's just another option right there. So for elementary, the parents will create accounts for Zoom. Again, they don't have to. You can send them the link and they can join you via the link. So if I put the link in Schoology folder, students will be able to join the conference. Yes, exactly. If you put the link in Schoology folder, or if you put the link in a table of information, which is what's being recommended, front page table, Monday conference, 9:30 to 10, Zoom link right there. If you do that, then they will be able to join you from there. So students don't need the Schoology access code because they are already in your class, Anna, through Teams. When they log into Schoology, they're going to see your course. And so they're going to see not only your course, but a lot of courses that the same courses you're seeing is the same courses they're going to see. That's why we have shown you how to change the card, the picture, the picture that had the course picture, so that they will be able to identify the course they need to go into. They do not need the access code because those courses are created from Teams, and students will always have those courses populated. All right, the next part, scheduling a meeting. This is one of the one that I like the most, and it keeps me organized. It's pretty much the same as the online version. You fill in the topic, the dates, the times. You create a general ID, a generate automatic ID. You select the video, the audio, and you can even send it to your calendar. If we keep going down on that, you can, you have some advanced options here. I like the bottom two. I mute participants on entry. And again, I automatically record meeting on the local computer so that I don't forget to press record. I check off this box. Once I'm done with all my entries here, I click on schedule. And this is what it's going to look like. Once you schedule it on your client, Zoom client, in that window on the right, it's going to show you the meeting. If you click on the three dots, you get to copy the invite, and you can share that via email or again, add it to your Schoology page, and you can start your meeting from here, okay? If you saved it to your calendar, it's gonna remind you 10 or 15 minutes before, hey, you have an upcoming meeting, and that way you can get into your Zoom and go ahead and start your meeting. When you start a meeting, so now we're inside the meeting, I recommend exiting out of full screen. It's gonna kick you into full screen. I like to exit out of full screen and turn on the chat so that I can have my video on one side, chat on the other, okay? You're gonna go ahead and join with computer audio. Remember, right now that's the only way to join with the free account. If you want to test your speakers and microphone, I know we've had a lot of issues with my speakers don't work, my microphone doesn't work. Before you join, test your stuff out. Go ahead and click test with speaker and microphone. Make sure everything's working. Make sure the right microphone and speakers are selected. Once you get in there, if you just click join with audio and you're having issues, right next to the mute button, you have an up arrow. You can go ahead and select the microphone that you want to use, and you want to select the speaker. So if you're not hearing anything, you might have a different setting. So you want to make sure you select your internal speakers or if you have headphones that you plugged in, whether they are plug and play, or if you have wireless like these that I have here, then you can go ahead and select those headphones. Your microphone, even though this wireless headset has a microphone, I've tried to use it, and people always tell me they can't hear me. These are expensive headphones, but they're not like AirPods, so they do have some issues. I like to use my internal microphone instead of these. These I use to listen, and I use my microphone to speak. So check your settings there in case you're having issues. If you've added her as a partner, as an admin in your course, Anna, she can go ahead and go in there and start working. All right, on the video side, we can go ahead and start the video by pressing the start video, and we can also choose a different camera. So if you have a different webcam, then you can go ahead and do so. If you've had tape over your webcam, it's time to take that off. It's time to really clean the lens there, because it's going to have a lot of sticky residue, so you can start using that FaceTime camera. You can also choose a virtual background. Okay, now this only works on the newer MacBooks, the ones that we passed out this year. Your older, smaller MacBooks from those high school teachers that got them about 2 years ago, the virtual background feature will only work if you have a green screen behind you. The processor's too old, and I know you've seen those messages already. The processors are too old, so it's not going to support the non-green screen background. If you want to use virtual background, you need a green screen. All right, so this is the virtual background. Notice the options at the bottom. I have a green screen and mirror my video. Again, if you have an older computer, you're going to have to set up a green screen behind you if you want to use this feature. Some of these images will be there automatically. I think there's 2 or 3, the 3 up at the top, and then the 2 videos down at the bottom. Those are there automatically for some. Some have told me that they're not there. But if you click on the plus sign, you can add your own image and video or video to show up in the background. You should be able to do virtual background. I can reach out to you later. We can see what's going on, okay? But that's how you set up virtual background. For the invite, you can invite via contacts. As you can see, I have my contacts there. You can also do it by email, but the best way to do it is to copy either the URL, which is the link, or copy the invitation. And again, send it via email or add it to your Schoology page. As a host, as the moderator, I can manage, you can manage your participants. So I've used that mute all to mute every one of you. I've used that today so that everybody's muted. I can unmute everybody as well. So that's something, when I click on manage participants, that's gonna show up there at the top, and then the chat's gonna show up at the bottom. When I click more under manage participants, I can select whether I want participants to unmute themselves or not. So right now I have that checked off so that there's no noise in the background, hopefully. And I can allow or not allow participants to rename themselves. I probably would uncheck that so that participant real names show up instead of, you know, Hot Pizza 67 or whatever. Lock the meeting, that means that once all your students are in, and you don't have to do this, but you know, that's something you can do. Once all your students are in, you can lock the meeting so nobody else can come in. Anna, the student username and password, if they can go into ClassLink, Anna, that is the best way for them to get to Schoology. And while I'm saying that, if they've never, one of the issues we've encountered is in our elementaries, our students have never used Office 365. That means they never logged into Office 365. If they go to, and that will stop them from logging into Schoology. So if that is the issue, if they can't log into Schoology, if it's not letting them in, then they will first need to go to Office 365, log in for the first time to Office 365. And again, that's found in ClassLink. And after they do that, then they should be able to log into Schoology. And that's been an issue for elementaries because we don't use Office 365 in elementary a lot, especially in the lower grades. So right now, Sylvia, I turned on in slideshow in PowerPoint, you can turn on subtitles. And when you go live, when you play the presentation, it will actually pick up the subtitles as you're speaking. All right, right here, if I'm sharing my screen, I can share my screen like I'm doing right now. I can share my desktop or whatever program I have open. I had PowerPoint open, so I'm sharing my PowerPoint screen. You can also share a whiteboard. This is not a shared whiteboard between you and the students. This is a whiteboard for you if you wanted to show vocabulary, if you wanted to show math problems. Students can also click on share and open up a whiteboard if you want them to show you something as well. So students can share a screen if you want them to. Okay, if you let them know, if you say, okay, Jesus, share your screen, give me a whiteboard and solve the following problem, they can do it live right there in front of all of you. On the advanced tab up there in the share screen, you can select the portion of the screen you want to share. You don't have to share your entire screen. You can also select a second camera. So, you know, if you had a document camera, or if you connected your iPad to your computer and you wanted to use it as a document camera, you could also select that. You could show a document camera, sorry. And the last feature there in share is the files. You can use your Microsoft OneDrive to share files in your OneDrive. If you have files in Google Drive, you can connect to Google Drive and share there. And you can also share from your Dropbox. You cannot install Dropbox, but you can share from your Dropbox account. All right, chat, very important. Many of you are asking questions right now through the chat. Thank you so much. That is always available. I highly recommend that you get out of full screen if you're in full screen and you turn on the chat so that you can have that conversation. And then you can mute everybody and then you can answer questions from the chat. So if you use Zoom to do your virtual office hours with parents, they can join you via a link. You can mute everybody and they can ask your questions there in chat, and then you can respond to the questions as they're being asked. There is a recording button, as you saw on the previous one, right next to chat, there's record. Once you press record, it starts recording. It gives you the options to pause and stop the recording at the bottom on the toolbar as well as at the top, okay? Please make sure that you record all your meetings with your students. And this is not so that people can spy on you. This is so that the students will have the recording. There are gonna be students that will not be able to join you during the live chat because they're in daycare, because whatever the reason may be. So you want to have a recording of your meeting so that you can upload that if you're using Zoom, so you can upload that to Schoology and they can view it at a later time. How do we get the whiteboard screen? If you click on share, one of the options will be whiteboard, and you can share a whiteboard. And then you can use your mouse. You click and draw with your mouse. You click and write with your mouse. The last one here is called reactions. There's a couple of reactions that you can do here. I've turned on in settings, and I'd have to go back and look where, because I was just messing through settings. I've set up different reactions on the chat. I think you should be able to see them. Let me know if you see something that says yes, no, too fast, too slow. I think that might be on your chat, or at least on your participants. If you click on participants on your site, I hope you should be able to see that. I know I can. I don't know if I turned that on for just myself, if it turned on for just myself or for you. But these are two reactions that show. There's a clap. If you wanted, all right, everybody, let's go ahead and clap for Jesus. What a great job. And they can clap. Or can everybody listen? Does everybody hear me? And they can click a thumbs up. And those reactions are going to show up on their video or wherever their name is. It's going to do a clap. It's going to show the clap or the thumbs up. Okay. All right. The last piece here is to end the meeting. Okay, moderators can end the meeting at any time. Once you'd say, hey, students, all right, I hope you had a good time. I'm so glad to see you guys today. I'll connect back with you on Wednesday. I'm going to go ahead and end the meeting. We'll see you on Wednesday. Okay, so you can press end meeting as a moderator. Right now, the only thing you're seeing is leave meeting. So students can leave the meeting. They will see leave meeting. I don't think they will, but they can leave the meeting if they want. When you click on end the meeting, did I go too far? There it is. When you click on end the meeting, you have three options. You can cancel ending the meeting, you can leave the meeting and leave the students in there by themselves, or you can end the meeting for all. Again, do not leave students alone in a meeting. Go ahead and end the meeting for all when you do that. So for Office 365, Anna, if they log in to ClassLink, then they won't have, that's the single sign-on program that we use in EPISD. If they log into ClassLink, they will see Schoology, Office 365, Myon, iStation. If they click on those programs, it should log them in automatically. They shouldn't need a password for that. But for Office 365, it's the same username for ClassLink, except at the end, they're going to type, let's say JM Morale, they're going to type @episd.org. They have to add that for Office 365 if they're asked to log in. The password's going to be the same. It's going to be their birthday, year, month, day. So it's going to be backwards. The iPads should have ClassLink. They were all reset. The students might have to go to self-service and download ClassLink from there, install ClassLink from self-service. They should all be on the Jamf, meaning they're all being managed, because that's one thing we asked, is that all iPads be managed and the apps added to self-service. So they'll go to self-service, they'll add ClassLink, they'll add iStation and whatever apps they need. Students do need a password. They need their username and password. The password can be found in your team's report. It'll be a student roster with Office 365 emails, but the password's pretty easy. It's their birth date. So if you print out a student roster, you'll have the password. The username is the hard part. So if you probably won't know the username, but if you print out that student report with Office 365 student roster with Office 365 emails, it'll give you their email, which the first part is their username. All right, so let's go ahead and I'm gonna get out of the chat, the PowerPoint. I'm gonna stop sharing the PowerPoint and we're gonna look at some Zoom settings that you need to be aware of. So I'm gonna share again, but I'm gonna share on the browser. Here we go. All right, so you should be seeing my my browser, and no, not yet. Now you should be seeing my browser, and up here at the top, you can go ahead and type in zoom.us, and that will take you to the Zoom website, okay? And from here, I can go ahead and sign in, and I can sign in with Google. Like I said, that's what I'm using because I'm using my Office 365 email through Google, and it signs me in automatically. So here are my meetings that I've scheduled. Here are my settings. So I have my settings here, and you can go through a couple of, a few things that you want to do for your settings. The audio, you can preset this here for your account. You can go ahead and make sure you do not select join before host. I wouldn't require passwords for anything. So definitely don't require passwords for anything there. They should be able to just log in with the link. This meeting will be saved, Anna. I am recording this. I will upload this to the EPISD at home professional staff development Zoom how-tos. There should be a folder there. No passwords. I have selected new participants upon entry. I have selected upcoming meeting reminder because I've connected my Outlook calendar to this so that it reminds me when I have a meeting. And I am allowing the chat. You can turn that off if you don't want chat, but I think chat is very beneficial. So I would leave that. That's a back channel chat. As I'm speaking, I'm answering questions. So I like the chat feature, okay? And I would let them save the chat. So you do have the option to save the chat. Down at the bottom of the chat, you have those 3 dots. You can save the chat that's going on right now. I am allowing file transfers, and I shared this presentation in the chat, so you will be able to download the PowerPoint presentation that I was showing. I'm actually going to turn this off. I'm showing that control ball up there, and it's kind of getting in my way. I'm going to turn that off, and hopefully I might have to restart this. So next time I do this, I won't be seeing this control bar. It will always pop up if I hover over the top over there. This will always pop up, okay? And screen sharing, I have screen sharing selected for all participants. So if I said it, Anna, go ahead and share your screen, show me what you're doing. They could do that. I could turn this off and say host only. Who can start sharing when someone else is sharing? Only the host. So if I do have somebody sharing and I want to share over them, I can take over that. I wouldn't select that to all participants because your screen sharing will get really crazy, okay? Annotation, whiteboard. I have everybody's allowed to use the whiteboard or to bring up a whiteboard. It's not a shared whiteboard, but they can go ahead and use or create their own whiteboard. Some of these were already on. I did not turn them off. The caption, I turned that on. I thought it was going to be a live caption so that I wouldn't have to use PowerPoint, but it's not a live caption. When you turn this on, you can give rights to somebody else to actually type the caption as you're speaking. So it's not a live caption, it's a write caption. So I turned that off because I realized this was not a live caption like what I was seeing in PowerPoint. PowerPoint, it is a live caption, okay? The virtual background, I am allowing you guys to create your virtual background. That's going to be your choice, but you can leave that on or off if you wish. HTML for email plugin. For the Outlook, it doesn't matter. Attention tracking, I thought this was pretty neat. The hosts can see an indicator in the participants panel if the attendee has left the Zoom meeting, like if they are just listening to you, but they're playing games or something on their computer, then private chat, I noticed it was turned off. Yes, you have control of turning on or turning off the private chat. That is up to you, especially in middle school, high school. I would probably turn that off so they're not having private conversations that while I'm trying to teach something. So I want their undivided attention. I turn off the private chat, okay? So I like this attention tracker as well. If they do leave, if they go to another page, if they go to the web browser to watch a video on YouTube, then you will have an indicator that tells you they're not really on the Zoom is on, but they're not on Zoom. They're on something else. So I thought that was pretty neat, especially for our secondary. Email notifications, you don't have to have those on. I know that's been a big deal with Schoology. It's just driving us nuts with all the email notifications. You don't need all those. You can send invitations via email in various languages. So if you needed to send the invitation in Espanol, you could definitely do that as well. Okay. And that's it. As you check or uncheck these, they will save automatically. Let me go to the top, sorry. In the recording, you have some recording features here. This should have changed already. meeting recording. Just trying to. My internet is taking a while, but you'll have recording features there as well. And I'm going to bring up the Zoom client up at the top. You can use do I have to use Zoom through Google or can I use my API? It's not in my API-ISD. Zoom, I don't think Zoom is in my API-ISD. You have to go to zoom.us. That is the website for Zoom. And you can use your API-ISD email to create your account, or you can log in with Google using your API-ISD email because it's already been tied to Google. Okay, so hopefully you're seeing, and hopefully I am not out of the chat. Am I still in this meeting? Are you guys still hearing me? Yes, okay, good. It's connecting, I'm having internet issues. Give me a second. Sorry, I had to tell my kiddos to turn off the internet. It's slowing it down. In time, if you can read my message. Yeah, I probably don't have it turn it on, Martha. I haven't stopped the private chats, so but you can. In settings here, and hopefully you can see my. Like I said, I don't know what you can't see, but I think you can see this window right here, which is my Zoom client. When I go to settings, and I'm going to bring this window up, I have various settings here. This is the general setup. You have your video setup right here. You can enable different things here. Your audio, you want to make sure that thing is moving, and you can select the different microphones, as well as you can test your speakers and make sure everything's playing. Okay. Your sharing screen, you can set different features here. I like this side by side. When I'm sharing screen, I get to see your cameras, your side by side mode. The chat, different features for fonts and stuff. Yes, I do have you locked in mute, and that's I did that on purpose so that I can continue the conversation because I'm gonna pretty much run out of time. In fact, I think my time's I got about 2-3 minutes. I'm gonna run a little over from 10:15 as I'm finishing these up, but I'll be done before 10:30. I did mute you, and that's something you definitely might want to do with your students as well. When you manage the users, the participants, you can unmute each individual student if you want a response from them. If you leave it open, you're gonna get a lot of noise, you're gonna get a lot of feedback, you're gonna get kids chewing, you're gonna get parents talking and yelling in the background or on the phone. You're just gonna have a whole lot of noise, and the more noise you have, the harder it is for them to listen to you, because it's gonna cut, there's gonna be a lot of feedback and cutting off of sound, Victor. So I did turn off the microphone for all of you, okay? On the chat, different settings here, not really about blocking the private chat, but you can do that within the within the main window. On the 3 dots, you can disable the private chat, and I did not disable that, but you can do that, okay? Virtual background, you've seen this. This is in the settings. You get to your virtual background. Your recording, remember, it's going to go to a folder on your desktop, and from there, so it's going to automatically go there. Somebody was asking me, how do I, telling us to record the meeting and post them. Can you walk us through saving the meeting and posting them, please? So all you have to do is press record, and when you end the meeting, it's going to automatically save it to this folder in your documents on your computer. You can always change the folder if you want to choose a new location. If you want to put it on the desktop and save it there, you can save it on the desktop. Just create a folder that says Zoom meetings, and you can go ahead and save it there. But it's going to create a folder for you in your documents, and it's going to create a Zoom folder and so on and so forth, okay? But you can go ahead and do that. I set add a timestamp to the recording. You don't have to do that. And I've set to record video during screen sharing. That's important. If you're sharing your screen, you want to be able to record everything. Yes, you can rename the recording once it's on there, because it's going to say Zoom and it's going to have a number and it's going to say MP4 as the file type. You can definitely click on that one time and then change the title. You can say, you know, teacher recording, or Mr. Morales is recording on Friday, March 27th, you know, whatever you want to call it. All right, under profile, you can click on your picture here. And you probably don't, if you don't have a picture, you can click on the picture there and change your image. You would have to have an image on your computer. Okay, so, and once you have you can click change picture. And once you have your image, it might pop in too big or too small. You can zoom in and zoom out with this slider. Okay. This is a Bitmoji, obviously. This wasn't created by me. This was created by BrainPop. I'm a BrainPop ambassador, so they created this nice little image of me. And then you save, and now you have your Bitmoji, your profile picture. Now, what this does is when I stop the video, you should see my Bitmoji. You should see that little image. So if you want to have an image while you know you need to go grab a cup of water because you're choking, or Kleenex because you have a runny nose, you can stop the video. You can show your little profile image, and you can go ahead and do what you need to do off camera. Okay. Statistics, if you're into all that stuff, it gives you all the stuff that you're using, your bandwidth and all that great stuff. Keyboard shortcuts, some of you are really big fans of keyboard shortcuts. There are a lot. There are a lot of keyboard shortcuts, like push to talk. I thought that was pretty neat. If I mute myself in a conversation and you're allowed to use a microphone, you don't have to click the mute button. You can just press your space bar, talk, and that's like a walkie-talkie type deal. You release it, and you are back in mute. I thought that was pretty neat. I found that as I was looking at, go away, as I was looking at the keyboard shortcuts. But there are a lot of keyboard shortcuts. I don't know if you can print these or not, honestly, but definitely write them down. You might be able to print them from the website, but here you can just set them. If you click the box, you will enable it as a global shortcut. And the accessibility features, like I said, the closed caption really wasn't a closed caption. It's a write closed caption. So Earl is in here. If I wanted to, I could give Earl control over the closed caption, and he can type. And I'm going to unmute Earl in case you need to speak to Earl if you want to chime in on any of this. All right, so that's the settings. Under the profile here, my image, I can add a personal note just like I can in Skype for Business. I can get to my settings from here, and I can set my availability. Okay, so I can say, yes, I'm available, or you know what, no, I'm away. Or I can say, do not disturb for so many minutes, and I can even set a time period. I'm gonna be available. And I can change my profile and upgrade and stuff like that in here. I know, yeah, hopefully I'm back because I was reconnecting. So sorry if I went on screen for a little while. That's pretty much everything I know to share on this. It's a great tool. Zoom is a very, very good tool. Okay. James, you can definitely email me, jmmorale@epist.org. You can definitely find us on, you can find all of us, all of your instructional technology specialists. If you go to our website, epistits.weebly.com, where did I put that? I know I have, oh, here it is. If you go to epistits.weebly.com and you click on home and you click on ITS assignments, you will see us, you will see all our information in the campuses that we serve. Yes, we can Zoom together. I'll send you a link through the chat, okay? Some of you had questions before we leave, and that's pretty much it for Zoom. I'm going to answer some questions here that are related to Schoology and some other questions here. Can I go back to video and audio settings, please? Yes, I can go back to video and audio settings. Let me go back to settings, video. That's for the FaceTime camera, obviously. Enable HD, you can mirror your video, you can touch up your appearance from there. You can turn off my video when joining a meeting. It's up to you. When you create the meeting, you want to turn your video on, but if you're joining somebody else's meeting, then possibly you want to turn that off. That's up to you, okay? For audio, you can select the microphone that you're using. So right now I'm using my internal microphone, my computer microphone. But if I had some headsets with a mic, and like Earl, he's got a headset with a microphone, you can do that. I have these headsets that also have a microphone at the bottom, although this might be hard to hear because it doesn't have that handle microphone. I can definitely set it to this as well. And then the speakers, you're not hearing any sound. This is a good place to go to make that your speakers are working. If it says same as system and it's not working, then you might want to go ahead and just choose the speakers that you're actually using, okay? Hopefully answered that there. As long as your attendance and yes, you can put the link to Zoom in Schoology. Yes. Again, you have that home page in your course where you can set a table with your, and you can go ahead and enter the different times you're going to be meeting, whether it's live with students or it's office hours with parents. And you can go ahead and drop the link in there so that they can go ahead and click on it and join. Yes. The Schoology videos are saved automatically. So if you do Schoology conferences, when you finish the conference, when you end the conference, it's going to go from active to completed. It's going to go to the completed sign. And those, thank you, Earl, those Schoology conference videos are going to save for 7 days. I'm going to go ahead and stop talking about Zoom for right now. Somebody wanted to learn about split screen. I'm going to open up another tab. I'll just go to EPISD. And I'm going to separate the tabs. Okay, so now I have two tabs. I have my instructional technology tab, my website there, and then I have the EPISD websites. I have two tabs. This could be Word and Teach Resource System. It really doesn't matter, okay? To do a split screen on a Mac, if you click and hold, and this is for macOS Mojave, I believe, if you click and hold, then you will be able to move to either the left or right. I'm on macOS Catalina, which is a version above you. When I hover over the green button, it tells me where if I want to go left or right. But on Mojave, you're going to have to click and hold, and then it'll split to the left or to the right, wherever you want it. Oh, there I went full screen. Not what I wanted. Hold on. I select, hombre, my bad. Let's try that again. I select left, and then it's going to ask me which window do I want to open on the other side. Well, I have two windows open. I have my Zoom PowerPoint, and I have the EPISD. Doesn't matter, you know, so you click on whichever one you want on the other side, and now you are in split screen mode. That's how you do it on a Mac. If you're still using a Windows device, you can go ahead and drag. I'm just going to bring this back over here. You go ahead and hold and drag to the left till you touch the end of the wall over here, and you release, and that does a left screen, or you can go to the right and do a right screen. And then it's going to show you, it's going to ask you if you want, which window do you want to open on the other side, just like the Mac does, okay? How can I have three like I'm seeing? Oh, the way I did it is I used 3 fingers and pushed up on my trackpad, and that's how I was showing that. And that's just so that I can see what's open and select. I can't really work on any of this. I'm just seeing what's open, and then I can select the one that I want to work on. So there, I've selected that one. 3 fingers, push up on your trackpad, not slide, not push. Slide up on your trackpad to select the window that's open. All right, so that's the end of my chat. I got 5 minutes to take a little break, and then I'm going to do this all over again at 10:30. Thank you for joining me. I will, as soon as I get a chance, and I'm going to have to make this video smaller so that I can upload it to that folder, the staff development or something, forget what it was called, under the Zoom how-to. So it's the professional development folder in the EPISD at home, okay? So I hope you got a lot out of this. Don't hesitate to contact us. We'll see you in virtual land later on. Bye-bye.